Okay, I think we are recording. Okay, we are here. Welcome to Wake the Dead. We are joined by our good friend, Jaymee Jay. Hello, welcome.
Hi, Sean. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited for this show tonight. It's a topic I really want to talk about. So thanks for having me on and giving me a platform because we have a really interesting show for people tonight.
Yeah, the title we've decided on is Baby Burlesque to BDSM, the fetishization of infantilization. I think
Yeah.
that's poetic. That's really good. Um,
Good hard to say.
so I've been talking about I've been talking about Lolita, I've been talking about Barbie dolls, I've been talking about Marilyn Monroe, and you're aware of this, and you came to me with this topic because something really stuck in your craw, right? Can you start with that? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it was this little video. It came up on Telegram. It was like a little TikTok video of Lady Gaga's Abracadabra song, and they had like a little 4-year-old girl basically dressed in latex like a dominatrix, and it's just a breaking point for me. Like I'm like I don't know how far people can be pushed where something's not cute, but like it's like they've really just like, I don't know how anybody can think that's cute. I think that's what triggered me the most about it is that I know people are watching it thinking it's cute, and I'm like, "This is not cute," and then we were kinda going back and comparing it to when people thought Shirley Temple was cute, but knowing everything we know now, you can go back and look at these videos, and they're just absolutely horrendous. Like, I don't know how anybody ever thought that was cute, but people did, you know? So, you look at that now, and it's like the dark satanic, sadistic version of it, and people still think it's cute, so that's kinda why we wanna talk about it today.
Yeah, it's not cute. No. Um, Yeah, so like the male gaze or whatever, it's not only to young women, it's to children, right? And that's basically what we're talking about. Um, and the mentality of the people looking and the people being looked at. And so that's kind of what we're talking about today. Um,
Yeah, and it's not just the fetishization of infantilization, it's hard to say that, but it's also the fetishization of the master-slave relationship, and then they're combining the pedophilia with the S&M and the BDSM, and, it's like I did a whole show on it with, Chantel on Aquarius Rising Africa about BDSM and how they're kinda, like, normalizing that in general to the public, but then this Lady Gaga video is like combining it with the pedophilia, so it's like pedophilia BDSM, which is we know that the end of the perversion continuum is actual snuff films of the innocent babies, and it's pedosadism is the end of the road. I don't think there's anything worse than that I've heard of, but I think that's the end of the line. So like this is
right,
just them kind of getting that end of the line into the public vernacular and kind of starting to just introduce it, again, using the Overton window, just kind of letting it out a little bit. But we know this stuff's really happening for real. So I don't know if you want to
right. You and
dig
I
into it.
know it's really happening for real, but other people think it's cute, right? So,
Yeah, and that's how they get this stuff introduced, right? Is just making it seem harmless or like funny or cute, right? But it's like that's kind of how it gets accepted without resistance is to bring it out in such a way, right?
right. So, here we got the share here. I'm going to see if I can make the video play the audio. One second. Um, this is one second. Sorry. This is uh
Oh, Sally.
can you hear that? It's really bad. Yeah, the leather and latex stuff, that's just one. I mean, so like the lady in red, that's the whore, that's a scarlet whore, Lady Babylon, right? Mystery Babylon. One the kids are once these kids are black and these kids are white, and then the red, and then the kids dancing with the little strings and stuff. It's like the maypole, that whole fertility shit. Yeah.
Ribbon
Wow.
programming. Yeah. Yeah, and also, something I noticed is the well, that was obviously like a huge, like, you know how the Moonies do those giant weddings? That was like
Yeah.
basically a bride of Satan ceremony with a whole bunch of little brides of Satan, and like, if you look at the way their little dresses were stitched together, they were using those little metal hooks that you use for tensor bandages to hook them on.
Really?
And so it's like they've been fractured, like they've probably been put through some form of satanic ritual abuse and then put together with like a tensor bandage, right? Like they're going to be reformed now and ready to marry
Oh,
Satan. Like it's really so dark, what we
wow.
just witnessed. And,
Abracadabra.
yeah, and that I mean, that was
Jesus.
obviously made for pedophiles to enjoy, right? Like, that was basically just putting it in your face, like, that's not for other little kids to enjoy, that's for, you know, who's watching that and loving that little voice and the little girls dancing, right? Like, it's like them in submission, all in unison, all dancing, like, you know what I mean? It's very much like a presentation for Satan. Like, that's what it is. They're
Right?
saying, like, "We prepared all these little girls, they're all gonna dance for you in, like, a form of worship, all in unison." Like, it's not their will, it's
Like
like they've been
ballet.
programmed. They're all gonna act as one.
Right. Right. Like their bodies are fully under the control of the the dance director, the programmer, whatever. Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So
that was
go ahead. Go ahead. Were you
oh,
gonna
I
say
just
something?
wanted to say I'm drinking kombucha even though it looks like a beer because it comes in a beer.
Feel free to get drunk.
Discl and
It's
it's
fine.
called brew. I'm just a disclaimer, I'm not drinking on the air, but,
Yeah, well, I might
yeah,
smoke a
that video
joint. It's
actually
okay.
sorry, I'm actually kind of vibrating with anger right now watching it because, um, I hadn't seen the whole thing, and yeah, that was just, like, absolutely, and because of what I know about the music industry and like, even about Lady Gaga stuff, like, I think they put public stuff out like this, and then I think
Mm,
real stuff did happen before and after this video, and then, you know, like, I just pray for that little girl's soul and all those little girls, like, whoever they are and wherever they are,
right.
like, knowing what actually is happening to them for real, and then they kinda put out the public version, and I think they do that in movies too, like, I think there's certain movies where they actually do really kill people on the air and people think it's just acting, but, like, it's part of the ritual is for you to watch it, and, I mean, even for those little girls to be able to dance like that, like, I mean, I've taken dance lessons, it's not easy, like, those little girls, and we all know about, like, the ballet and stuff and how much MK
Yes.
Ultra goes on at the ballet schools, and you know what I mean? So, like, for those little girls even to do that, like, perform that, like, they've went through a lot to be able to do that, all in
Right.
unison like
Right.
that.
Right. So little children uh in a like Hollywood level production for pedophiles to look at and get hard, right? That's okay. So moving on for with that segue, let's move on to this other thing here. This is Shirley Temple. Um, so this is from the Lolita Riddle, which is a documentary about Nabokov, the writer of Lolita, and it investigates the pedophilic themes. And this is actually the documentary where I first learned that Nabokov's uncle abused him, and he was a dandy or whatever. It was like had rich clothes and stuff, um, and I looked it up. Yep, yeah, it's like so I believe that Like it's in all of Nabokov's writings. It's like every one of his books. And um but anyway, so Lolita was directly influenced by Shirley Temple and her movies. And so this portion of the documentary describes the what was used by Nabokov from that he lifted basically from Shirley Temple. So here, let me share this. Let me get the audio going. 1 second.
Nabokov's multi-layered interrogation of the pedophile's secret underworld extended to the movies. Anticipating queries raised by more recent critics such as Marion Sinclair, the author detected unsavory currents beneath Hollywood's glittering surface. With Lolita, he took special delight in mocking suspect scenes found in Shirley Temple films. The iconic child star, Shirley Temple, was born on April 23, 1928. For 4 years during the Great Depression, this talented little girl remained America's #1 box office attraction. Shirley began her long film career at age 3 when she starred in an all-child cast Baby Burlesk series, produced and directed by Mont. Mont is credited being Severer. During the 1930s, Baby Burlesk short films were for a feature. Commented in its fun-filled spoofs on leading actresses of the stage cinema, the Baby Burlesk films are in fact complete with slapstick jokes and sly innuendos.
Here, wait 1 second. What was that?
La Belle Diaperina, oh my god. I was just saying she was dancing on the checkered floor too. Sorry, it's just so bad. I don't know if you could hear me when you were playing that, but
Beau Elmer fails to impress when he chomps down hard on an enormous pickle. In War Babies, Pipsqueak Shirley played the diaper-clad harlot Gloria. The toddler soldiers, hanging around Pete's Buttermilk Cafe, compete for her attention by presenting her with enormous lollipops. Titillating side in the background states, "When things go away, Gloria comes picking a glove from her purse and attaching it to a keg of sweet milk. The other side, a man can be heard moaning rather than mooing on the accompanying soundtrack." Shirley's prostitute is ultimately confirmed when a patron triumphantly his teeth with the Bobby Helper diapers. Shirley again played a role in politics in Washington. Hired by the nipple and oil lobby, she sets out to corrupt a new bumpkin Senate. When Senator Clodbuster succumbs to her trials, confirmed sex fighting. Clodbuster falls from grace, sees him go down the spewing ice behind him like a lawnmower. In the last Baby Burlesk film, King Africa, Shirley publicizing criminal Madame Cradlebait. It's a fact, the pistol-wielding Madame journeys through the jungle by an obedient troop of coolies. During a raid, she is captured stuck cliche hop. After sitting assault, the cannibal chief asks the telephone operator to connect him to extension 342. Madame Cradlebait is rescued by a miniature Tarzan. The action appreciates an eerie, personally moon's bulldog. While carrying a weary nil capsule board, tanks the last chance filling station by sitting on the end of a gas pump. The man follows, convenient on the doctor stand nearby. Next, here's a long close of the pump's nozzle. Got directly linked hidden for a criminal file code to Lolita via a strategy of ideology. And Child Hunter's Hotel, Humbert and his nymphet bun through. Throughout the sound of a painted reminder of the ever-popular honeymoon trip to the Niagara Falls. After Lolita escapes with Quilty, Humbert searches 342 hotels and motels in a vain attempt to track down his effect. Nabokov also parodied Charles Lamont's 1904 short film Managed Money. Stowaway Shelley sets off with a teenage brother Sonny through a cactus-fed Halloween desert. En route, a glorious mansion that turned out to be a Fata Morgana or optical illusion. When they stop to collect blood, Shirley backs into a prickly pear. man suddenly pops out from behind Saguaro, starts laughing. In Lolita's lonely region, Humbert dreams of spinning onto California to the Mexican border to Hayes, Saguaro deserts, Fata Morganas. Shirley may have the career lost behind after she was signed up in 1934, but the suspicious scenes not disappear altogether. Cast as an orphan, motherless child, or plot feature are revolved around children's institutions and custody battles. Some guardians displayed an odd talent for entirely ends. In Bright Eyes, Shirley's mother is run over by a speeding vehicle as she crosses the road to catch a bus. Her stern governess is an equally grisly end. The coincidental accident theme was recalled in Oliver when Charlotte Hayes ran over on the way posting a letter that exposed Humbert's personal interest in her. In Bright Eyes, Shirley dances coquettishly down the aisle under the too appreciative gaze of her aviators, brandishing huge lollipops. The all crew proceed to maul Shirley. They put her up, shove a box of glue surface to an oversized cake that leaves traces of white ice in her mouth. In a mocking reenactment, Humbert complains of catching Little Limp Low, dripping a look in the direction of a friendly mechanic, and bursting into a perfect love song of wisecracks as soon as he turns his back to buy a lollipop. Shirley often comes her co-stars in an adult fashion. Sometimes she fiddles flirtatiously with ties. Shades of incest creep into the rich girl. Shirley has singing. This is an option being sought by Gaga, who try to lure her with peppermint candy. In Rebecca's Sunnybrook Farm, Shirley loses her voice and is examined by a doctor behind a locked door without an accompanying adult. Depraved choreography is seen in Captain January, where Shirley has a close encounter with her dancing co-star Marilyn. The gratuitous slapstick gags continued. Some of Shirley's studio portraits also present a distinct and probed manner. Further signs of a covert agenda and curly top, a minion for Edward Morgan, is utterly bewitched orphan ward. Meaning, it's new to me, he anticipates the new thriller at Wonderland. Morgan's of made cherubic Shirley, gilded in gold paint. Although this scene was either cut or censored, in her autobiography, Shirley recalled fearing death by toxic asphyxiation as she plunged a mythical dart into Morgan's heart. Morgan's hallucinations continue as all the paintings in his study are suddenly haunted by Shirley's image. In later, the scene is comically revisited when Quilty stops to sing a few hysterical sonorities, accompanied by sound snort. Humbert chases him around Pavor Mansion. Why, we may ask, is Shirley's dress shorter at the back than the front as she pirouettes on top of the grand piano? And what exactly was the purpose of the scene, where Shirley creeps into Morgan's bedroom, then jiggles up and down his stomach? Lady Mark heads to Ben Top for unspecified eruption of bliss. Curly Top makes you telltale. Morgan by hula dress and ukulele for his tiny ward, and we see Shirley dancing in a corset. While later, Shirley is lying on the beach reading a comic strip. The camera zooms in on a mouse. There's a big spider in a hula dress. A voyeur such a rock and swimsuit that is conveniently used for her. Book parodied the scene by having swat comics on her belly ring on the piazza. Humbert rocks back and forth as the girl's smell at once set my manhood astir. Despite her enormous popularity, Shirley Temple did have some critics in the 1930s. American film critic Gilbert Seldes compared Shirley to Mae West, the reigning sex goddess, and recommended her directors face a firing squad at daybreak. Seldes thought Shirley's had very little to do with her real power, because at her good moments, something like a growl of satisfaction arises from the audience. Across the Atlantic, British writer Jaymee similarly argued that Shirley attracted audiences for all the wrong reasons. In a review of Captain January, Green queried the reservations as to casping in a salacious manner to provoke disreputable enjoyment. In his 1977 Willy Winky, published by Night and Day magazine, Green again went on the attack, insisting, "Infancy with her is a disguise. Her appeal is more secret and more adult. Her neat developed rump twisted in the tap dance. Her eyes had song-sing coquetry." This time, 23 for retaliate, winning substantial damages from Green for implying it had mistemper for moral purposes. Nearly 2 decades later, Graham Greene was an early reader and fan of Lolita. He must have appreciated the novel's little recognized critique of the Hollywood Shirley Temple industry. In his review, Greene praised Lolita as one of the best books published in 1955. His comments sparked a heated debate over morality in censorship, that eventually culminated in Lolita hitting #1 on the bestsellers list in the UK and America. Shirley Temple's legacy lingers on in her movies, books, dolls, figurines, and other collectibles. Questions about the motivations of her Hollywood directors are rarely raised. Correctly summed up these anxieties, he had parade past Lolita in adult disguise, a great hunk of movie.
Yeah, I just find it interesting that, just the time difference of when Shirley Temple came out, and I think, it's so obvious now what we're looking at. I think before a lot of this stuff was exposed about, before culture was exposed to there's different forms of satanic abuse and dissociation, which even read Alice in Wonderland books, it's written in a way to tell you like little girls will go into their imagination, like the Masons have always known how to do this. So yeah, it's interesting to see them, how arrogant they were even before the actual
Totally. Yeah, and like even now, I was just watching a Larry King interview with her, and she's talking about writing her book and her memoir, and she seems like she doesn't even notice that she was like even now, or well, and
Did you research the history of Shirley Temple? Because I think there's a lot there, like who her husband was, and stuff. I think he was involved in some secret societies, and so who knows if she's a complete
he was
mind
the
control
first
slave.
one was like
I
a
mean,
military dude that married her when she was 17, and he was super alcoholic and would cheat on her and that like I mean that's all I know pretty much, but you know uh
yeah, I mean,
military
I think
dudes
it'd be pretty safe to say, like, she's completely a mind controlled slave. Like, I don't think she just because like we always, on your show, like you're interviewing people who get their memories and stuff, but that's
yeah
actually not the norm. Like a lot of people are used in programs and have no idea and don't think anything happened. And again, that's why they don't notice anything when it's happening to their kids or their grandkids because they're dissociative.
ugh,
They've never actually brought it to their conscious awareness, processed it, accepted it, and so that's actually part of the perpetuation of not seeing it. And,
right.
so when you see these older women, like that just completely haven't ever faced the reality, like I think that happens a lot. I think it's the that's the norm. And I think it's actually more rare for people to wake up somewhere in between that and become non-dissociative.
Right, or at least recognize their dissociativeness, you know what I mean, like how it's tough to become non-dissociative, I guess, like I don't know. Anyway, so Shirley Temple was like a little Marilyn Monroe, right?
Hmm.
And uh Marilyn Monroe acted like Shirley Temple, right?
Hmm.
Talk about that a little bit. Tell
Yeah,
us.
so they inverted it both ways, and that's kind of what we wanted to cover on the show today, is that they're basically they want adults to act like little kids, and then they want little kids to act like adults. And so it's fetishized both ways. And so you see like these Playboy bunnies or, Marilyn Monroe, like just acting like a really ditzy little girl, giggly,
Mm.
cute, like, wouldn't actually be like your equal as an adult having a conversation. It's like you're just there for entertainment, completely overly sexualized, like, you know what I mean? It's like so it's
Hooters
like
girl. Like,
yeah, so
yeah,
somebody like Marilyn Monroe is like the closest they could get to that pedophilic fantasy in somebody of age, right? Is to make them seem really kind of babyish. And I mean, we've seen that there's a million Marilyn Monroes since Marilyn Monroe, right? Like she was just
sure.
this first prototype of that male fantasy of the Stepford wife, you know what I mean, with a programmable brain, over sexualized little girl that could be totally mentally manipulated by somebody smarter. Is basically what the fetish actually is, right?
Right. Yeah, because it's about domination, not really as much about sex at that point. It's about dominating and owning and controlling.
Yeah, and that was
So
kind of the cute version of it. And like now, I was on my other show, like talking about like how they're making this satanic, everything's a transactional power and control exchange of, master slave relationship. And like that's all sex is, that's all every relationship is, like master owner slave, order taking, order following, like you have a boss at work, you have, like it's this
even
whole that
OnlyFans.
normalizing this on in every single way. So of course they're going to combine it with the pedophilia, into this S&M stuff, because that's the satanic system is a hierarchy of master slaves. It's about power and control. That's what they want to
Right.
normalize.
And it's natural that the child thing is going to be part of that master slave because a child is a natural slave, right? because it's
Yeah,
smaller
and a
and
lot of parents have that relationship with their child, like, you're a good boy or if you comply with the parent, like, that's what makes you good or bad is compliance with your master, which is the person that's bigger than you that controls your your resources, right? So, that's mirrored all through
yeah.
society now, and they're just trying to normalize that, and if you look at the people that are into BDSM stuff, like, it is reenacting, like, childhood trauma of, like, spanking or you know what I mean? Like, it's all,
Oh yeah.
kind of age regressed reenactment from that kinda stuff, and then, now, like, I can't even keep up with the sexual perversion, like, I used to think I was pretty on top of all of it sociologically, but it just keeps growing to the point where I actually can't even, like, keep track of all this stuff anymore because it's just endless, variations on it, like, with furries and, all this stuff, but, like, we were talking about the fetishization of people wanting to be babies and that, but in a sexualized way, like, it's not just, the feeling of being swaddled or cuddled because, yeah, of course, anybody could like that, right? But it's like a sexualized version of it, where people are, paying these women that specialize in providing this service, and I think you mentioned before, Sean, that, like, the ones who are gonna actually say, like, they will actually use hypnosis to age regress you, like, you actually will be a baby during this, uh, thing that's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
Um,
I shared
yeah.
with you here, let me see if I can find that. Keep talking, but I shared with you
Well,
this
I keep
it's
seeing these weird things, like, I went to, it was a restaurant, it was, like, one of the worst places I've ever been, I couldn't even believe it when we went in there. There was a picture on the wall, like, kind of the baby burlesque stuff, like, there was a kid smoking a cigarette, and then they had some rap video they were playing where, like, this little kid was drinking cough syrup, and then there was, like, an adult lady, and she was, like, twerking in front of him, and he thought it was funny, and, like, they're playing this in a restaurant. Like a public restaurant. I think it was like, you had to be of age to be in there, but, like, I just was so horrified that this even existed and that it would be played somewhere, like, where people are eating in public. Like, it's so crazy to me, this kind of, like, or you see now with, like, people bringing the kids to the strip clubs and thinking it's cute and you know what I mean? Like, the little Desmond the Amazing going to the strip clubs and doing his little, dances and people thinking it's cute. Like, they had him on was it Saturday or sorry, what's the talk show? Saturday morning or breakfast
s-
show or, one of those shows.
today or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, like a
Uh,
daytime television show. They have this little drag kid coming out doing, provocative striptease and, like, all these people are just clapping, like, it's so cute, and it's like, this is the
was it
deception of people's minds.
Lactatia? Was the kid's named Lactatia?
I know that no, I think that was the one who was hanging
That
out
poor
with
kid. That kid is
Desmond, but,
ugh,
it's just this whole normalization of, like, people thinking stuff is cute. It's like,
gross.
is it like, it's like they if somebody tells them it's cute, then they're like, "Oh, okay, it's cute." That's how programmable people are. Like, they can show you something that you don't even have your own discernment to say, "I know what I'm looking at is not right." Like, the one guy who stood up against Shirley Temple because he actually could use his own mind to say, like, "I see what you guys are doing here."
Right. Yeah. This I mean, so the abracadabra is is the occultation of it. I mean, people don't notice because it's so cute, right? I mean, it's the cover over with that veil. But
Oh,
really,
yeah,
that I
Kathy
mean, that's what
O'Brien talks
Baby
about that
Burlesque was
too.
doing, right? I mean, Baby Burlesque had, oh, it's cute, but then they got a little baby sucking on a freaking dong. I mean, it's like it's gross. And then they got like the moo sound, like a groaning dude, like what the fuck, man? So I mean, that what did Kathy say? I'm sorry, you were talking.
It was she was talking about how they would use comedy and, like, the comedy circuits to normalize stuff too, because people, they go to a comedy show expecting to laugh, and when you laugh, you actually go into an altered state of consciousness, like, you relax and you laugh and you kinda go unconscious for a minute, and so whatever they're saying and, like, you'll see sometimes, like, if you put on a comedy show on Netflix or something, they'll be making, like, little pedophile jokes about, like, little girls' frilly underwear and, like, you know what I mean?
Ugh.
And people laugh, but then they in the middle of laughing, they're like, "Wait, is this funny? Like, why am I laughing? It's kinda creepy." Like, but they're
Yeah,
already
yeah.
laughing, so they're almost kind of already consenting to it in their subconscious by laughing at it. And anyways, Kathy O'Brien did mention that like they use comedy, to normalize this kind of stuff. And honestly, like I've watched some of the shows just on Netflix, and like they're always making like pedophile jokes now. They're just to make people, like
especially
just to
the
diffuse the charge off it, right?
well, I mean, there's a lot of weird, creepy adult cartoons that have that type of shit in there, and um,
Yeah, think of
so like,
animation as dark.
and these, well, yeah, but these, you know, those like adult comedy cartoons are played in a room full of bunch of kids that are high and all sitting around, and then it makes these very uncomfortable situations, and then they have to laugh and look around and like, yeah, it's really it's odd that that TV's putting people in those situations on purpose. You know what I mean? And Netflix, oh my God, it is built.
That's bad.
It is built for that. Like, oh, it's supposed to be on while you're like banging and knocking, but like the fucking Netflix and chill shit. Like now, every time I'm watching a
It's
movie,
bad.
it's like in the first 20 minutes or so, there, if you're just listening, it's just all sex, like grunts and like, give me that,
Yeah.
and
Really graphic. Like there's
yeah,
no censorship. They show everything now.
yeah,
Like
that too.
I don't think there is censorship
Yeah, and
anymore.
especially with cuties. I don't know if you want to bring that one up, but
Yeah, I
fucking
didn't watch that, but I
Netflix.
know I've heard about it.
Obviously, I did not
Yeah.
either. No.
I think they put see, this is what David Icke talks about the totalitarian tiptoe or the
Yeah.
Overton window. It's like the same thing where they see like how much they can kind of push it, and then if there's a little kickback, they back up a little bit. Like
Mhm.
Cutie's got some people kind of cross the line and they back up. But they've already planted the seed. They've already normalized it. So next
Right.
time when the next Cuties comes out, it's not going to get that big of a reaction because it's already happened already. So they
There's
don't
many
care either
more,
way.
dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm like flipping through to see like kids stuff. I'm there with my son, and okay, I'm gonna try to find something good here. And and it offers up like little little teenage mermaids or some shit. I don't know what the title was, but it was like 9-year-old, 10-year, maybe 11 as mermaids with like the bikini top, and they're on the beach, and like
Yeah,
that's
and
that's
who's
the
really watching
cover.
that, right?
Exactly,
Yeah,
dude. What the
like, who's really watching that? It's old dudes, right? Same with all these teen influencers, like, their number 1 fan base is middle-aged men.
right.
It's not
And
other
there
little
and
teens
Netflix is
watching
getting all
mermaids.
them clicks and getting all those
Yep.
people paying the $7 a month, dude. It's a different
Yeah.
kind of prostitution, but and that movie, as I was scrolling through, there wasn't just one, there was like 3 or 4 of this, like, oh, like baby bikini mermaids 1 through 5, like, it's what the I mean, and it's just, like,
Even some
under the
of the bathing
radar.
suits, like, I was going to the pool for a while, and there's these little girls, and they're wearing these, like, little bikinis that have, like, the wire in for obviously an adult female's breasts to have support, but, like, it's totally unnecessary in, like, a little girl's bathing suit, but they're making the bathing suits look really like something an adult would wear, and
Mm,
again, like, I just don't I mean, I don't know, like, I just get more angry at the parents, like, I'm like, "Why would you put your daughter in that and take her to the public pool and put her on display?" And maybe you are unconscious or you think it's cute, but, like, it's like,
right,
it's not, like, you know
yeah, and then the kid is getting weird attention from the adults, and they think that's
yeah.
good, and then they, like, who knows where it goes, you know what I mean? Like, okay.
You know what I noticed that off Netflix, I've been watching it, lately, and, okay, first of all, like, no matter what show you watch, I think it has to be, a gay sex, scene, and like, there it doesn't matter if it's a home reno show, it's gotta be you're going to the gay guy's house to do home like, it's I don't think you can get a show on Netflix unless it's to normalize being gay. But not just that, in all the heterosexual scenes, the female is the aggressor, is something I actually just noticed this week. So, okay, so there's two things. So, number one, like the girl
Wow,
always
dude.
looks at the guy. She gives him one look and decides she likes this guy. And so they lean in for a kiss. They barely kiss and then they rip their clothes off and there's immediate penetration with like no foreplay, no going bases, no incrementalism. It's just like there's no in between. It's 0 to 60. Like I kind of like you. Let's fuck, right? Like that's basically how every show is normalizing. So think if you're
That's
like a teen and
90s
you watch that,
America.
right? You're
Just
just it's like you're not even supposed to like do anything except for like immediately just rip your clothes off and have like full sex right away. And I noticed that on every single show. And then the female is always really like aggressive and is like telling the guy to shut up and take his clothes off, whatever, right? Which is fine, right? But it's just that they're doing it all the time. Like it's always the role reversal and then always the
mm,
female's on top, which is the dominant position, and the guy's just laying there.
Lilith.
And I've noticed it in like multiple shows. Like I'm like, no, no, they're like really pushing this exact scenario where it's like the girl is the assertive, aggressive, dominating one, and the man just does what he's told, and it's all up to the girl. And like, so they're really pushing that too. So like, even though it's not, it's still heterosexual. It's still they're really flipping the
Yeah,
masculine, feminine energies and
I
normalizing it.
I recognized that in a recent film. I forget which one it was, but it was like a strong businesswoman going off to work, and dad's making her, or her husband's making her breakfast, and like seeing her off to work. Bye bye, hun. And he's like wearing the fucking apron. It's just like the '50s mom. It's the exact opposite of like
Yeah,
'50s. Oh my
yeah.
god, it's like. So yeah, it's I'm just glad
Well,
that
this stuff
people are
all
being
leads.
aware
So
now
you
these
have to
days.
understand what people have to understand what the end game is, because you can look back in hindsight and see how they're using all these things to socially engineer what they want society to be. And
Right.
what the cabal wants society to be is people to be um like either gay, pedophiles, asexual. Well, it actually ends in asexuality. Like this other stuff
Right.
is just um part of where this is all going. It's not the end game. The end game is for people to be very, very immature, scared of the opposite sex, um, pedophiles, but like only using pornography because they don't actually want like any human connection. So like even the actual real pedophilia is still just another stop on the road to what the end game is. And
Hmm.
so all of these things that they're offering now in the name of liberation, and you know, like just accepting everything, it's like they want to make soup first and then strain it out into what they want, right? So they're kind of
Right.
like depatterning everything by saying anything goes, anything's normal, inverting anything that would be like a natural thing. And then once it's all kind of undifferentiated, they can start siphoning it down into what they want. And so I always warn people with the pornography and stuff, it actually does age regress you. And that's why when people watch it, they think, oh, well, I'm not watching uh, pedophile porn, but like it's the fact it's the instant gratification, it's the lack of inability to be vulnerable. Like this is all stuff that age regresses you down, and you become more narcissistic by flipping through porn girls. And we all know that narcissism is a defense mechanism where there's an emotional, 5-year-old little child inside of somebody with a very fragile ego. And that's actually what all of this stuff is doing. And so if you look at these people that are control freaks, like, and want to be in positions of power, like, there's a strong connection with these cabal people being pedophiles, because it's like they do have a little inner child that expects to get whatever they want whenever they want it and not care about anybody else, is very egocentric. And so the more they can promote narcissism in society and all of these really egocentric ways of being, they're actually inadvertently promoting pedophilia. And then even if people aren't looking for it, they're kind of always subtly offering it to you, even in these little ways like the Lady Gaga video. Even though maybe you weren't looking for that, it's like their end game is that. And in the end, we know that pornography leads to like impotence and inability to connect with other humans. So that's what they really want, is this
Same
asexuality.
circumcision. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
and so the circumcision is connected to it as well, because a lot of the pornography is circumcised penises that are a lot of times being inserted anally now, and so it's programming people not only to activate their subconscious unprocessed rage at women, but also to promote the male type sex, right? So it's like it's very subtle, but that it's all connected. And if you look at places like where they've done really successful social engineering, like some of the places in Japan where people like don't hold hands or anything anymore, they're just like little kids, and then they read Japanimation for their sexual, and this is more closer to the end goal than what people realize, right?
Yeah, I was going to bring up
I don't know if
Japan when
that
you were
makes
talking
sense,
about
but
that earlier. Yeah, because like Shirley Temple influenced Lolita, and Lolita created a whole thing that was became worldwide, and sex tourism was a big thing in Japan. And I mean, up until just recently, the legal age for sex was like 12 or something, I forget, but it was really low. And they just raised it, I don't know, not that far. It was only like to 16 maybe or some shit, but they it's always been kind of just kind of overlooked and nobody. But now in Japan they got this lolicon, or like Lolita complex, they call it. And the women want to act like little girls, and they try to talk with little kid voices, and they get really skinny and small, and they dress like the Japanime, you know, sex, whatever you call it. And that is what they're trying to do, and they even get plastic surgery on their lips and stuff and their face to like look like little, and it's very weird. And so Japan is way ahead. I don't know if it's because of that Barbie shit, like after, and maybe the industrialization over there, like
well,
they
even
had some.
Sailor Moon, right? Like it's that kind of stuff is again, like I used to work at a library, and I was like, oh, I'm just putting the books away in the preteen kids section, right? Like not thinking anything. Oh, it's just little cartoons. And then I actually started flipping through one day, and I actually had to like tell the lady that worked in the library. I was like, do you know what's in these books? Because this is like you're basically setting up a little porn stand for these kids to come sneak in the library and be like, oh, mom, I'm just going to the library, and they're going and looking at like some really graphic, stuff. And the thing about in Japan is the women there look at Japanimation of two little boys being gay together in a picture, but it's females that look at it. It's like a thing. So I don't
Wow,
know. I
never heard
can't
of
say
that,
much
dude.
more
That
than
is
all of this,
sick
but
weird. What the?
yeah,
Oh
it's
my
really
god.
weird because it's not like they're like they're into little boys as females. Like I don't know, it's they've just really done a whole number on programming
Yeah,
thing.
dude. Wow,
You know what I
Japan
mean?
is fucking whacked, man. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And Japan was in Lolita. She was coming down with the Asiatic flu, and like she had a poster of Japan on her bedroom wall, and like she said that Quilty had an Oriental genius.
Sorry,
And
is this
so
lolicon stuff just in Japan, or is this like a thing all over? I've never
it's
heard of it.
big
This is
in
new.
Japan. Here, I'll look it up on Wiki. Here, one second.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I
big in
didn't know
Japan.
this. So
Here,
this is what I mean.
lolly.
I think I know everything, but it just keeps growing. Like unless I seriously was looking at it every day at what because they just come out with a new. It just keeps evolving. Like
Here, one second. Lolia complex. I'll look it up. Yeah, it's jeez, I can't find it. Okay. All right. What the hell? Okay. Here we go.
and so they have conventions
Derived
of
from
this. Like who's oh
lolicon.
my god.
Yeah, it's basically here. Let me. Let's,
And just a bunch of old dudes come to this and it's like heaven for them? Like,
I mean,
or
well,
what?
no, there's sex tourism, like Japan, like people will be in, they'll here we go, lolicon. Okay. Do you see that? Um, see that? Here. Oh wait, the fans don't see it. Here, the
Oh, you know
listeners
what?
don't
The
see
other
it.
thing that almost makes me want to go berserk is that um oh my gosh, why am I blanking out on her name? Um Miley Cyrus video with the baby. That was another one that really, really pissed me off.
I
When she's like rolling around in her diaper in the crib and
Oh
saying like
right.
F me to stop me talking or something. And it's like it's just so gross. That was like another one that I just couldn't believe they actually put that out and that people are like letting their little daughters go to Miley Cyrus um concerts and thinking it's cute. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know. I get really
Here's
mad at the parents personally. That's why I hate these like beauty pageants, like when the dad's sitting there and the mom's just like a psycho being like, "Get on stage and put your heels on." And like the dad's just like no authority, no protection. He's just totally letting his wife be a psycho, take the daughter out and like
It's
it's
because
just
he's
I don't
been
know why it
watching
really
too much
triggers me just
porn.
like the
He's
dude
like
sitting there and letting it
programmed.
all happen. I'm like, "No, you should be like grabbing your kid and like you need to be taking control here." But
Mhm.
it all goes together, right? It's the emasculating of the alpha male, of the men, of the male role, of the male leadership, and
Right.
that just seems like the Netflix stuff of the female on top. Like it doesn't seem as, dark as it really is. But then you look how once all these roles get inverted, like how it gets acted out in society, right? Like it all supports this end goal agenda.
Right.
What am I looking at? Oh my
This
god.
is Lolicon Fan Dujinshi being
Well,
sold
I've read quite
at
a few books, and they actually do traffic children at the comic book things. That's the way they've always done it because they can also launder the money by saying it's a collector item. So you paid 4 grand for a comic book, and
mm,
they know what kind of people are coming there, and that there'll be
just like
kids there,
that.
and it won't be a red flag. So a lot of people are actually trafficked at comic book conventions.
Oh,
I've read it in multiple books.
man. Wow. Well, this is a comic book convention that you're looking at, and the
Yeah, like
images
look at this.
are
Like
like
this is
pretty sick.
a lot of really violent too. Like it's not even cute. Like look like the little girl's got little tears in the corner of her eyes, and you know what I mean. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah. And it's a lot of it has is like there's some like pretty violent manga
yeah.
like this.
And so this is all
um
projection, right? Like when they show the little girls, like as like what did they call Shirley Temple the cradle? I can't remember what they
Cradle
called it. It was
bait.
really bad.
Cradle
Cradle
bait.
bait or the diaperitis or anyways,
Yeah,
it's
dude.
so
Whoa.
with narcissists there's always projection, right, of their disowned parts. And so another reason why narcissism and pedophilia go together is because they're projecting that seductiveness or the little girl being like them. It's again it's projection. And so when they're painting all these pictures of the little sluts in their diapers, like that is like all illusion. Like a little girl doesn't have the ability to have that part of an adult woman's brain or anything. Like you can read or talk to anybody that's been abused or sex trafficked. Like there was nothing sexual about it to them at all. It was just completely weird and creepy. And like they don't have the parts like in their
Right. They
spirit
can't think
developed
like
to
that.
be anywhere close to what's happening for the adult. Is completely parallel universes. But they're always trying to normalize that, like, kids are sexual. And this goes back to like the Kinsey research, right? Like how they're trying to like pretend something's there that's not, because then they can say that there was some type of consent from the child, right? When it's like it's actually not even possible.
Right. But
Projection.
Kinsey says that we're sexual since birth. So he was sexualizing
Yeah, and that's
children.
why
I'm
when they say
surprised it
things
took
like
this long to
"born this
talk about
way,"
him. I'm glad you brought him up, dude. Well, go ahead,
well, when
sorry.
they say "born this way," there's like, when people say they're born gay and stuff, it's like, well, uh, I'm not saying that people don't feel that they are that way and that they were always that way, but it's the hidden meaning in that when they say "born that way," they're saying you were born, like, wanting to perform fellatio on another man. Like, no, you weren't. Even if you end up being gay when you're older, you weren't born that way, you developed into that. But to say
Right.
you're born that way, so then people think, "Oh, yeah, they're born that way," then so they're just this is, like, again, it's that subtle part of the subconscious mind that is consenting by agreeing that a statement like that is true, right? So that's why we always gotta be careful with
Right.
this kinda language.
John, just like with John Euler's work, um, the progression starts like when he would interview or talk to these violators of, women and children. They would always say that they started, being attracted to adult females, or adult bodies, right, of the opposite sex, and um whatever, adult bodies, right? Who knows what they were doing, um but then it regressed to the barely legal
Some people
porn, and
want
then
what they can't have, right? And that's why they're always promoting indulgence and instant gratification because there's not you're gonna go darker because there's nothing left that gives you a thrill, and you're just gonna feel more dead inside. Like the more if this is just like an esoteric principle, right? Like if you have discipline and withhold from something, it's you enjoy it more when you have it. Like even if you fast for a few days and then eat a meal or whatever it is, like if you have restraint and self-control and you know what I mean? And there's lots of research that people who watch a lot of porn or even look at a million naked women are not as happy with their wife. Like, so it's like you're actually just making yourself unable to enjoy the partner you have by going and looking at everything else on the menu. Whereas if you like, could you imagine being in the 1800s and like you never saw anybody naked until your wedding night? Like how exciting that would be. Like you could, you know what I mean? Like that would have been, like, mind-blowing to see a pair of breasts, like, after 25 years, like, it'd be like, "Oh," right? But nobody has that anymore, so, like, everybody has to keep trying to go further and further to just because they feel dead, right? Because 'Cause they've overindulged to the point where they feel dead, and psychopaths feel dead because they don't have a conscience, and they think they can just take out the conscience and not take out the good stuff, but they actually feel, flatline dead with everything, so they have to do crude things even just to get a charge, and that's why porn has to become violent and stuff, right? Because it's that reptilian brain. It's gotta pump it up somehow because you're that part of like just the sex is burnt out, right? So
so you turn into
yeah, I think
Aleister
with the
Crowley in the
pedophilia,
Abbey of
it's like,
so you turn
and
into
even
Aleister
that's not
Crowley in
enough.
the Abbey of Thelema, right? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to
Yeah,
work with
it's
the
like
delay a little.
even that's not enough, and then it has to be snuff, right? And then
Right.
snuff's not even enough. Like it's like what is now they have to bring it back to life and kill it again. You know what I mean? Like it's not even there's nothing's ever enough. You know what I mean? And people just it's the law of the forbidden. Like it says it right in the Satanic Bible that like it's the law of the forbidden. Like they were even saying you should wear a wedding ring because it's gonna make guys want to hit on you more just because it's like they're not supposed to, right? Because there's this little thing in humans where we get a little charged from doing something we're not supposed to. Like it actually creates a little energetic charge of going against what we know we should do. And so humans are always tempted to do that. And so the people that want to control you are going to keep offering you a buffet of that because that's how you're going to become really weak as a person.
Right. And they want
Sorry, what were you
to
saying about Crowley?
just because like the level of what he was doing in the Abbey of Thelema, in that basement in Sheffield or whatever, where there's like these murals in the like these devil paintings, and uh a child died, like there, I mean, people went insane. They were doing some really sick with on like mescaline, like fucking opium, and hashish and all that. They were going nuts, and and his like the depravity levels, like he would just do the most depraved thing on purpose. Like that's what I was trying to say. So
Yeah, just to see what the charge was, like, and I've studied serial killers a lot, right? And it's like, this is how it works, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
they start fantasizing, and then they keep progressing, right? Because it's more of a high, they wanna take it a little further and a little further, and that's why it's really scary when people are like, "Oh, it's okay to get a fake blow up baby off Amazon that has a fitting of a hole in its mouth." It's okay. That way you can just reenact that without harming a kid, and it's like, "No, no. Take it from me, it's not okay, because the more you indulge in the fantasy, the more you're gonna wanna do it in real life." And there's lots of forensic research on this. Like, playing with the fantasy doesn't actually fill the need, to not go and do it in real life. It actually makes it worse to wanna go do it in real life, and that's why when people are like, "Oh, I just wanna watch some porn to save my marriage," "I just wanna see something spicy on the side," or whatever, it's like, no, as soon as you start indulging in that fantasy, you are gonna wanna go do it. And so it's better to, like, never start playing with that stuff, because it's gonna put you in a weakened position than you were before
Right.
you were going and playing with it. But they always lie to you. They're like, "Oh, no, just, put it out." It actually doesn't work that way at all.
Yeah, that's the beginning of the stepwise progression into the
Yeah.
and
And I
like,
swear, you guys, if you go down Amazon, there's some nasty stuff on there, and, like, out of curiosity, like, because the algorithm will
oh,
keep bringing it up, the AI, like, some of the stuff they have there for, I don't even know what to call it, sexual perversion supply, like, full latex suits of the opposite gender, like, I'm sure they have a baby suit on there, like, they have everything, it's just so you almost wanna look
uh,
like, "What is this?" Like, that you even had to know that stuff existed, but it's like, this is on Amazon.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, Amazon, of course it would be on Amazon. Of course, that, they'll serve anything to anybody,
yeah,
and
they
they'll
have the
they'll
little
grease the
dolls that look
government.
like those little girls, they probably come with, like, they'll cry or something, and, they probably have a little
Right.
AI voice that'll cry when you're raping it, like, it's that bad,
So
and
you're
people
talking
think it's
about
so.
a life-size doll of a child that has a mouth hole
Yeah,
and a vag hole and an A
yeah,
hole
yeah,
for
yeah, and they have
servicing.
AI in those dolls now, right?
Uh, oh,
Real stuff, so
uh, you're
I
getting
don't know.
kind
What
of
else were we gonna talk about?
you're getting
Were we
kind
gonna
of
talk about John
computerized.
Benet Ramsey?
I just spoke with Julia from Cosmic Peach about John Benet Ramsey.
Oh,
With William Ramsey, we did a swap cast interviewing her, and she's got a bunch of information. You should talk to her. She's great. Um, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, John Benet Ramsey, I was wanted to talk to her because that was much like the Helena being, Helena who was kidnapped at Christmas and that whole thing. And, with the Marilyn Monroe stuff, I already talked to Julie about that. And so it kind of all connected. And that's another reason why it was good to talk to you about this today. And so you were mentioning the sick. So wait, before we get there, like, so you're talking about how so the porn AI will age regress you, but there's this other stuff that's on YouTube. um, so here, let me share 1 second here. Okay, you see that? It says, uh, your girlfriend and her best friend diaper you. And it's an audio uh thing. It's really weird. Here.
See, this is like, men can't understand how this is mocking them, like, because there's this whole thing of the man baby now, right? Where men are just like, can't actually be men anymore, and like, they're just promoting that and normalizing it, like, to just don't grow up, be a man baby, get a diaper, get a soother, you know. sit in your safe space, if you're like your mom, do what you want. It's like they're just this whole man baby thing. And like even the Legion of Men and stuff, right? Like they're trying to like act like it's, this like the feminist movement for women, but it's like they're really promoting like this infantilism still, like of just don't, um, you know, if you want to play video games all day, play video games all day. You know what I mean? That makes you a man because nobody told you you can't. And if they're not really promoting like men to be myself men, they're really promoting the man baby. And so this stuff, you know, I just don't know how much more obvious it can get, right? Like,
It's funny because when you're a real man, you do things for others and not for you, like
yeah,
you grow up to like
exactly.
you pay for things and you like help people and you fix stuff and like like so that it I don't know whatever. So okay, let's see if
Yeah.
this audio is working. Let's see. This is just so silly and weird. Okay, all right, here.
Ad Part 3 by A.B. Fantasies.
Did you
Are
hear
you
that?
ready to play?
Did you hear that? Okay, are you ready to play? Here we go.
What does it say? It almost looks like the Saturn symbol on that box. What does it say? Little changes?
Yeah, the bathroom is just upstairs on the right, okay? I'll be in the kitchen. Oh, hey, babe, you're home.
Oh,
I
hey,
wasn't sure
babe.
if you were here. I was just out at the bar with my...
So this is audio for you to look at this picture, the AI generated booby women, like two, like a blonde one and a brunette one, and they got diapers. This is for the listeners that can't see. They There's like two pretty AI cartoon women with big old boobs, and they're both sitting on a carpet, like in front of a fire or some shit. Oh, YouTube just errored and not streaming. Okay, but anyway, I'm still recording. So like that's fucking funny. They just dropped it on that. Anyway, so yeah, this is audio that people listen to, and then they look at this AI generated picture of two ladies in front of on the floor on a blanket or whatever with diapers and wet wipes, and they're both looking at you like with big childlike big eyes, how and they're
Yeah.
both like smiling like hey, they're like kind of squeezing their boobs between their arms.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's computer generated just from that. So I wonder if the whole thing is computer generated and what is it doing? And like when I found this, it was like it was trying to give me more of them. Like, okay, back to normal. We're back to excellent. Okay, it's still streaming again. So I don't know. It's probably because I pushed play for a couple seconds. But anyway, so like but YouTube is back. That's what I was saying. Sorry guys. But anyway, the this is intended for masturbation. It's obvious. And then like when we listen, it's like the audio of your girlfriend, and she's talking about how, oh, I just went to I just her sister or some shit wants to see me in diapers. I'll skip through a little bit here. We'll go in the middle. Okay.
Diaper. It's true. I do. Purely educational.
Seriously, honey, you already got naked and pooped in a frickin' diaper in front of a total stranger at the clinic. This is nothing compared to that.
I still can't believe that.
Honestly, at the time, it just seemed absolutely normal. This woman...
Absolutely normal. Pooping in front of strangers, dude. What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
So that's just a little piece of it, and we didn't lose stream on that, so that's good. So
Yeah, I think we get the it's but you know what?
What do
It's
you
even
have to
worse
say
'cause
about that?
there's people who wanna act like that, in everyday life, and then there's these people that are just as bad that go and adopt these people, because they're saying they had a traumatic childhood and they want to be remothered, and like so there's people that actually go adopt these adult men and like play like I don't know if I could find it again, but there was one guy that had actually convinced this family to adopt him and like treat him like a kid all the time. He slept in a crib, he had everything.
Did he pay a
And
bunch of
the
money?
thing is, yeah, but the
Okay.
thing is he had kids. Like he left his family and kids to go and do this.
Oh,
Like as if that's not the most
jeez.
narcissistic, selfish. Like if
Wow.
you want to do that yourself, you have free will. But like to leave your family and feel entitled to go and like he was probably so jealous of his kids when they were born. He was like, I gotta go do this myself.
I
But
can't
another thing I want
imagine
to
the
talk about, Sean, that
psychology.
I'm so glad you brought up the AI stuff because this is taking this stuff to another level, right? So with the deep fakes and stuff now, and there's this like virtual porn, which is made from images of children, and then they can make it into pornographic stuff
And
without
they
actually it being real kids. And so again, these sickos are like, well, if it's like, no animals were hurt in the making of this film, you know what I mean? Like, so they're
right.
like,
So they
no
don't
real
go to
kids. So
jail.
again, they're acting like it's normal just to partake in it when it's not. Like I said, this do some research on serial killers. Like, do not put your consciousness on that and think it's not changing who you are. Like you're not doing that and then being a normal person in real life. Like you can't keep that in a compartment. You're basically downloading filth into your soul. It's not just like something to fantasize about, but the virtual porn is really dangerous. Like, and this is not a conspiracy. Like, there was actually lobbyist groups trying to get laws passed. Um, and so, you know, and also with this age regressing thing, they normalize it in a lot of different ways. And I mentioned off the air the movie Benjamin Button, where it was about a guy that aged in reverse, but he had met this woman, and they were together when they were the same age, and then they separated, and she's normally, and he age regressed, and then he like came back and saw her again at a certain point a few times because they were in love this whole time. But at some point, like I think she was like in her 50s and he was like, 13ish, but because it was him and she always knew him, they're kind of showing it in a movie like, well, it would be okay because, they were together when he was the other age and you know what I mean? And then you think of that movie Big with Tom Hanks, right? Where it was like the little
Tom
person in the
Hanks.
big
Yeah.
body. Yeah, so you see how these really innocent movies, like we all got taken to see that at the theater when we were kids and thought it was cute and fun, right? But they're saying like the age doesn't match. And some of these people now coming out of these MK Ultra programs are like talking about being age regressed and putting back in different bodies and stuff. And I'm like, that can be dangerous too, because it's like what they're saying is that your actual age is not the same age as your physical body, or like that you can be different. And so, when are they going to say, oh, well, I identify as a child and therefore like I'm not a pedophile, like I'm just a what are they called, adult babies or what?
Adult baby diaper lovers.
Yeah, so if you went charged
ADBL.
at court and get charged and you say, "Well, I feel like I'm 5 inside," right? This is the kind of stuff that is really serious, you know what I mean? It seems not harmful at the level it's at, but again, when we look at that end game of what these people want, of course they're going to promote that kind of stuff because then that's going to lead to them being able to project adult quality onto a kid, like them consenting and them being sexual, and then the opposite way of projection of them being an infant. So again, they're
Right.
just blurring that line. So there is no
Right.
line.
And the AI thing, they uh they can make infinite amounts. It's just you can just click a button and it just
Yeah.
goes.
And remember
But
Tom Hanks what had that tiara, toddlers and tiaras or
yeah, the
whatever?
SNL
That was really
skit.
creepy too, right? And so,
Right.
Tom Hanks growing up just he seemed like the nicest guy in Hollywood. You never heard stories about him drunk driving, or he always seemed like the wholesome when.
So
Same
was
with
Bill
like Bill Cosby.
Cosby.
Like
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the most wholesome ones that don't even swear,
Mm,
you know,
right.
that always end up being
Yeah.
the creepiest ones.
And talk about the opposite one. Well, yeah. Also, people should look into how Tom Hanks shared a photo on his Instagram of a glove on the ground, like a hand. So, what do you do with your hand, right? And then it said SLC something, and that was it was a link to Yandex child porn. straight up. If you type that into the computer, it'll bring up
Was
Yandex
that off
child
the
porn.
Mouthy Buddha documentary?
I think it was. Yeah, I think that's where I learned
Yeah,
about
I
that.
can't remember what it was called. It was made by Mouthy Buddha, but he showed all the ways that they embed images. Um, there was another thing I should have told you before the show, but I found it online. I don't even know if I could find it again. It was called computer file, but it was spelled PHILE, like computer
Mhm.
file,
Right.
but spelled like pedophile.
Yeah.
And even though there was nothing abnormal on this site, I actually just landed upon it when I was doing research for Mark Passio's tech course. Like I was researching tech stuff. And I thought something's off about this. Like, why would it be called computer file spelled like pedophile? And then I looked at what this person was teaching, and it was all the ways that pedophiles can use technology. Like, so they will do something like embed an image, like see in the background, Sean, how you have those pictures.
Yeah.
They would embed a child explicit photo, like in that photo, where you'd have to zoom in like a million times to see it. And they all know this. Like they have all these certain ways of like embedding images. Like it's all techniques that these people use for online,
Wow.
doing pornography stuff. And this guy was like, had a YouTube channel just sharing this tech, but he wasn't saying that's what it's for. But it's like, if you read between the lines, that's what it is. And that one Mouthy Buddha documentary really showed how once your mind's tuned in to what to look for, it's in your face. You know what I mean? It's like going back
Yeah.
and watching these Shirley temples, like, it's, like, so in your face now.
Yeah.
Nobody could see it back then,
Or the
you
ones that
know?
could were the ones that shouldn't be looking, like the ones that could see it are the ones that have that inside, that want to see that.
So,
And
another thing just to bring up, like, I can't, oh my god, I seriously can't stand those little baby beauty pageants, like, I just can't handle, like, well, I just can't handle the adults all sitting there together thinking it's normal, like, it's just one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen is those.
yeah,
Um But what was I gonna say? Oh, so now with the technology, the mothers just have little influencers and they have like, "Oh, this is just my daughter playing Barbie in her room." And they're doing it all from home, right? And like these mothers are basically pimping their kids out online and it seems really innocent. But then
right.
you look at some of the more psycho mothers, like there was one documentary on Netflix that I can't remember the name of it, but the mother was like sending the little girl's underwear and stuff to people. And then they started looking at who's actually watching these shows, and like, it's not other little kids watching other little kids, like, unwrap presents,
Yeah, and they'll like
Barbies and
put
stuff.
in the
It's like all middle-aged men.
right, and they'll put in the comment a timestamp when like they can see like under the skirt or some shit, and like they'll all share that timestamp. And the John
Yeah.
Bonet we talked about with Julia William Ramsey, and I talked with her about how the oh you popped out. Oh, there you are. Okay, you're back again. Uh,
I
we
think it's okay.
okay. We talked about how the pageant is like a sale, and then when you look
Mhm.
at Bryce Taylor, she was dressed up like with feathers and shit, just like a showgirl, and she was put on display and sold. You know what I mean? At like an auction, basically, and that could be, in my
Mhm.
view, I mean, a child pageant could be that. To everybody else, it's a normal pageant.
100% it is.
Right.
And I think there's different levels of it. Like, I think there's, like, just child trafficking, but then there's, like, another extra level where they know the children are programmed and dissociative and trained, and they're bringing them there to display them. It's, like, the same as, you know, people think a strip club is, like, just the girls dancing on stage, but, like, that's just the advertisement for the girls who are making the real money, like, in the
Right.
back rooms, right? Like, you know what I mean? And so,
Right.
it's the same with these beauty pageants. It's like, yeah, there's I'm sure a couple innocent parents there that are, like, just weird, but, like, the ones who know what they're doing are absolutely, like I said, like I've read a lot of books of people that have been trafficked, and some of them at the comic book conventions, but also these other they travel, right? These beauty pageants travel. like the mothers go in the hotels with their daughters and they have to go to these certain places, and like, and so
Right.
it's a really easy cover for the trafficking, right? And yeah, I think it's really, really common. I think Bob Hope bought Bryce Taylor, selected her from the little pageant.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, of course, that's the kind of he likes the feathery girls or the showgirls and stuff, like of course.
I can't
Um,
even watch that stuff. It just looks so creepy to me. Like even how they put the fake teeth in the little
yeah.
girls and like I can't like that. Those two things, just my brain is like it's like a thing in the Matrix where I'm like, no, like I
Yeah.
can't watch that. Like, you know what I mean? Even at the pool, like a little girl wearing like a push-up bikini with a little girl's body, it's like that doesn't look okay. That there's two
Right.
things that just don't go together being put together. You know what I mean? And
I had
I don't
trouble
know how
watching
people
that
can
Shirley
watch these
Temple
pageants.
clip. Like the tight
That
bathing
was
suit, I was like,
horrible, hey?
oh, it's just, like it's really tough to watch. Like, it's cute. It's
Well,
cute.
you know what? Now that my eyes are tuned to it, it's everywhere.
Right.
Like, you can go and actually, I used to work in, like, a halfway house with guys that got out of jail, and they would say, like, always watch for, like, Sears magazines or, like, I don't know what they have in the States, like the shopping center,
Right.
Big Eaton's, whatever. I don't know what they
JC
have in the States
Penney,
for the big
whatever. Yeah. JC
JCPenney,
Penney.
yeah. They would
Right.
say always watch for those kind of catalogs laying around because a lot of the guys, like, that's what they would use is, like, the little kids' clothes section and stuff, and like, if anybody ever finds that in their room, they say, "Oh, I was just shopping for sweaters at JCPenney," or whatever, right? So, but actually, if you start to, there used to be this website, I don't think it's around anymore, and it was called, like, Unintentional Porn or something, and they would show how in advertising they're always using sexual innuendo, even if it's just a
Yeah.
round
Yeah.
object and a phallic looking object or a 1 and a 0, but, like, if you really I don't know, I'm probably so, like, I don't think I can unsee or not know what I know,
You've
so
been
I'm sure I don't
studying
see the
too
world the same
much.
way as other people anymore, but, like, I see it everywhere. I see it, like, when you're going to a mall or something and all the pictures of kids, like, they have on sorts and stuff, it's actually always kinda there if you look for it. There's always weird innuendos all the
Yeah.
time in the most innocent looking things.
Yeah. I can't look at Spielberg the same,
Yeah, or,
any of
like,
those
even the
movies.
diaper
And
commercials, like, why do they need to do that? It's obviously triggering pedophiles, right? Like, it's like, I don't think anybody that has a child needs to see a commercial of little baby bums crawling around, like, we all, like, know what a
like
baby
that
looks
copper
like, and if you have
tone,
your own
like,
baby, why
yeah.
do they need to put that on the TV? Like, I don't know, it's even that I think is weird. I've never appreciated those commercials, like, I don't think
Who
I don't think it's
appreciates?
necessary to sell diapers to like, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
You know what I mean?
I agree. Uh, someone else who uses a little baby face to sell to make money is Bonnie Blue. She uses AI to wear a underage face. Did you know that?
Yeah, I'm so disturbed by I've been talking about Bonnie Blue in all my podcasts 'cause
I'm
I
sorry. I
can't
I
handle it.
told you about her.
I'm
Yeah.
so traumatized by what you told
It's
me.
rough.
I didn't know about it, but it's really bad and it just keeps getting worse. And yeah, so now with like even Snapchat and stuff, right? Like people can put this little cute like
Kid face, right?
yeah, yep.
So she puts on a kid face and then does sex acts on camera and says, "I'm an adult. I can't get in trouble. Pay money." And so she's getting money from all the pedos out there. I don't know how long that lasted, but I saw that on a documentary. I saw the scrolling, looking. It's
Yeah, it's like I
really
feel
sick.
like there's this class of
That's what
women that
AI
have
can
just
do.
accepted it. And, like you look at like the extreme example would be somebody like Hillary Clinton, who was like before she was even in politics, she was working as a lawyer getting pedophiles off in jail, like and laughing about it,
Right.
right? So, there's a certain class of women that are like, this is just the way it is. And they can get in power positions by colluding with that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And so,
By
yeah,
being
you
in a
see
glass
this even in the
box.
porn stars, like, a lot of them are acting like little girls and, you know, um,
Yeah, yeah. Now there's a new thing where the porn girls do a face that looks like the cartoon Japanime. They act like they're orgasming and they do a stupid face where they cross their eyes and stick out their tongue like Kali or some shit. Like who would do that? Like that's the stupidest O face, but
well,
it's
you know
like
what?
it comes from the lolicon, the the Lolita comics, and now the real porn actresses are told to do that while they're dude.
People really don't understand sexuality. Like a lot of people think there's no agency in sexuality, but like the, if you look at the fact that anything can be fetishized, right? Like somebody can have a fetish for anything, anything, paper, anything. It doesn't matter. There's some dude out there with a fetish for it, and that's because the way the mind works is classical conditioning. It's a paired stimulus and response. Like programming sexuality is one of the easiest things to do ever because you're in an altered state of consciousness when you're aroused. Like you're literally programmable. And so people get imprinted as soon as they have any type of hormone and things get associated in their mind and then it has a sexual charge to it. It's like when I would say out of all MK Ultra, sexuality is one of the easiest things they can just program in. And I think people need to stop being so arrogant and think I'm in control. I'm just going to go put myself in an altered state of consciousness and participate in something and then completely compartmentalize it, act like I didn't just put an actual cassette tape in my head and program in what I just put in there that doesn't go away. That's why when people have fantasies, they can pull up a screenshot of something they've watched before because it actually is in their soul now as a file. And so people think they can just go and do all these things and it doesn't count because it's just in the fantasy realm. But they actually are, like, you can see by something like that, right? Where these men have grammed two cartoons and now it's the simulacra, right? Where people prefer the fake thing to the real thing because there's a safety in not ever having the true intimacy of the real thing, and so it's safer. Like there's even women that got plastic surgery to look like blow up dolls, right? Or like men aren't even attracted to a real breast that's a teardrop shape anymore because it doesn't
Oh,
look like an implant. Like, and this stuff is all programmed, you guys. It's all programmed.
dude. They
It's
mutilate the
so easy to program sexuality. Like, I just think people are just playing with fire. Like, and I'm not trying to be a crude or shame anybody. Like, I'm just like, you guys need to understand what the end game is and who the people making the porn and running these pageants and making the Japanimation. Like, they are a group with an agenda that they want to social engineer a social structure that has a certain type of relationship structure in it, which is a master slave relationship where you are the infant. So anything that you're programming yourself with to make you more infantile is leading to you being enslaved. And that's
mm,
exactly what it's meant to do. And only your own arrogance in thinking that you're going to be in control of it and that you're just going to play with it is like what's going to end you up being like this dude looking on this AI thing at his sister and her friend wanting to change his diaper,
right,
right?
yeah.
But that guy, the guy who watches this probably goes to work in an office and thinks nobody's picking up on that energy. He thinks he's fooling everybody. He thinks he just goes home and does this on his spare time and that he's actually it's not who he really is. And then he can go out in the world and be a different person. And I think a lot of people at this point in history are starting to realize that's actually not true. And because of the frequency raising on the earth, like it's actually a little bit harder to be a liar now. Like people are able to pick up on energies now more than they used to be able to. And that's why they're promoting everybody just to be like high all the time and stressed out all the time because they don't like so much stuff is just so obvious now. And like when you put all this stuff into yourself and program yourself, like you literally have a different aura, you have a different energy. And like people might not even be able to verbalize it or intellectualize it, they just energetically can feel that energy off you. And it's becoming easier and easier to do that as we're all more connected. And like there is changes going on right now where like people are just aren't able to actually wear their mask as easy as they used to in history. It's like people can kind of pick up on the vibes now. And so yeah, you're just fooling yourself if you think you're going to go do this stuff and nobody's actually going to pick up on it.
Oh, I can be a clomper. What do you mean?
What's a
I can.
clomper? I don't even know what that means. What's a clomper?
Oh, a clomper is somebody who has a fetish for dressing up like a horse or a unicorn or some shit.
Oh
Clompers,
yeah,
just
yeah.
look
Who
them up.
cares?
Yeah, they go clomp, clomp, I guess. So
I think a lot of it's actually even darker MK Ultra. Like I think they actually took a whole bunch of kids out of school and daycares and even in assemblies at school and did a bunch of weird MK Ultra stuff. And I think they did it in a way where it's not so obvious, like the furry stuff and stuff, and like people who want to be dogs or whatever. Like that doesn't come from the individual, especially because they're all the same age. It's like something happened to that cohort. Like they did a little test run to see if they could do something to people, and then like 20 years later, be like, oh look, they all think this now. Like I think that was, I think it's actually a lot darker. And then they create the porn for what they've already programmed the fetish in for. And so if you
right,
read books by people that have been through MK Ultra, they will do like weird S&M stuff on them as infants because they're creating a market for the S&M pornography that they'll watch or participate in as adults, right? And so it's all connected.
right. Like the Balenciaga bear, uh, BDSM bear, uh,
Yeah, the
that
bears
whole
too, like that
thing.
was like Jimmy Savile and stuff like,
Oh yeah, his TV show
the
had the bear.
black-eyed bear, panda
Right.
bears, like all of it, right? It's all
Yeah. So babies have bears here. So let me share this here 1 second. Okay. So this adult baby diaper fetish. This is from on YouTube, Vice Guide to Sex. Vice, the owned by Bill Maher, the lefty weirdo. But Vice here. Yeah, let me. The audio is playing. Okay, good. Here. So, oh wait, 1 second. Oh, sorry, everybody. Here we go. Okay.
Being, can you imagine being in a headspace that you are so relaxed that every single care that you think about as an adult melts away? How's that?
ABDL stands for Adult Baby Diaper Lover.
That's a full diaper. You waited too long. What's wrong with you? Numb.
They actually have an identity that is a younger age than their chronological age.
A little girl should not have a potty mouth.
A little girl should not have a potty mouth.
It isn't necessarily overtly sexual, but it's a bonding experience.
You see an adult in a diaper, why do you think they're a pedophile?
People want what they had as a kid. It's very nostalgic.
There has been this whole economy that has sprung up to serve the community.
In addition to manufacturing adult diapers, I also wear them all the time.
Great. Okay, so that's the opening.
I just can't believe they can't see how much they're being like literally mocked by people who hate them.
I mean,
They just can't.
it seems like it's more mocking them, like this whole thing.
Yeah. I know what's so evil about that baby powder is that was it Johnson and Johnson was like this generational satanic family, and they knew that talcum baby powder and the mineral oil and all the stuff they were promoting for babies, like with all the baby commercials and stuff. It was like making babies sick like forever. Like, but they were like,
Right.
oh, it's just every baby needs baby talcum powder and stuff, right? Which I'm pretty sure is banned now, but
Yeah, I think there's
manufacturing that
asbestos
need for their
in it.
product. Yeah.
Yeah, like there is asbestos in talc. It's just like you can't have
Yeah,
The
and this
one,
family knew, like, they were literally it's almost like, not the same as circumcision, but the same thing where, like, the parents do it to their own kid because they've been programmed to have this false need to, like, "Oh, the baby needs baby powder," when, like, how did babies live in nature without baby powder before the 1950s? Like, it didn't even exist, like, but they made it so it's every baby had to have it, right? Like,
right. Yeah. And yeah, and all the yeah, anyway. So okay, for the listeners, there was an image of a big-breasted woman above the camera, dusting the camera with baby powder and then applying a diaper to the camera, you know. And we were meant to imagine that that was happening and how great it would be to just pee and poop in a diaper. I can't. Oh,
yeah,
and
well,
that,
that girl probably makes a lot of money.
yeah, she probably does. And it's really sick. So that, let me just skip through it. I don't know if
You know what we
we're not
should
going to
start
watch the whole
just to
thing.
see how many followers we could get is we should just start like Legion of Man Babies and just see if we can get like a legion of dudes in diapers like marching,
I
stomping,
mean,
having a temper tantrum. We
they
put
got the
out
zombie
videos
walk
every
in
week how to
Portland,
have a temper tantrum at work.
dude.
I
So
bet
the
we get a
woman,
lot of followers.
well, I mean, they already do have people doing their temper tantrums on TikTok. Like they just do it and they post it. So anyway, the woman who does the diaper dusting, she also is uh age regressed also. Here, wait. Here, wait 1 second. Here, wait the audio 1 second. God, this is kind of wonky, guys. Sorry, everybody. Okay, here we
And
go.
it is sexual though. Like she's wearing a tight fitting dress. And, like they're saying, oh, it's not sexual, but it is fetishized. Like
Right.
um it is sexual, like, it's obviously sexual, but they're pretending it's not, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they frame her boobs, like, I mean, the dress that
Yeah, just like a
shows.
pedophile would be like, "Oh, we're just playing a game." Like, you know what I mean? That they're almost doing the same thing in this,
Mm, okay, here, wait.
where they're
I'm
like,
gonna.
"It's not sexual."
So she's explaining she's the dominatrix, but she also, let's
She was kind of being a dominatrix. She was, like, shaming, the guy and making him stand in the corner for having a potty mouth, and, like, so it is like a form
right.
of S&M and M and
It is
domination, right?
totally that. Yes.
Yeah.
So she gets paid for doing the dominatrix act, but she also says that she does the being a child. Here, let's listen.
I'm ABTL. I was a little before I was any of the other things.
I think I need a change.
This is okay. And this is a tool that people use to not just work through traumas, but also to relax. And for some people, it's not about that at all. It's really just about being able to feel little and taken care of by someone. It's very therapeutic.
So she used the term little. Do you know that term? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so this is like what they call a small part inside of somebody that's been abused that's actually stuck in time at the age they were at the time they were abused. And so all people with dissociative identity disorder have littles, which is basically the times that the traumas happen. And so this actually really pisses me off to watch because they're basically normalizing dysfunction. And actually I will say this about like almost the entire counseling field now, like they're normalizing um like so much dysfunction. They're recommending that sexually abused people go and do BDSM for their therapeutic
Oh,
processing of trauma. They're normalizing like people having parts. They're normalizing like this kind of stuff. Like it's actually become so satanic and inverted, the whole counseling field. It's like counseling used to be to help people that were not functioning socially at work in like socially functioning and able to like be an adult. They would go see a counselor because they're like, okay, you're not able to function, what's the problem, right? Is it from childhood stuff? Is it trauma? Like, and you would work through that stuff in order to be functioning in a way that's normal, right? And now, because they've made everything amoral and they've normalized everything, and there's no right and wrong, and there's actually, it's very solipsistic too, like where they're like, it's all client centered, where they're just like, well, how does it feel for you, or what do you think, or like, it's whatever you want for yourself. Like, there's no actual outside influence to say, well, maybe that's your problem, right? Like, there's nothing that's a problem unless the client. So this, it's really been all twisted. And like when I watch stuff like this where people are obviously reenacting like stuff and then saying that's therapeutic, and yeah, they're really promoting like BDSM in the counseling community, and it's like, this is just normalizing dysfunction. That's not healing trauma. Normalizing trauma, pretending it's not trauma, doesn't heal it. And that's kind of what they're doing here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So like um they're normalizing dysfunction. Like you said in the beginning,
Right.
they want us to be dysfunctional. So, and then when we are
And there's no
dysfunctional,
objective,
I was
there's
just going to
nothing
say,
objective. Like, there's no objective morality, there's no objective normal. Everything is egocentric.
right, right. And yeah, so the counselors are even like the broken people try to go to a counselor to get fixed, and then they're like, "You're okay. It's cool to dress up like a clomper or a fucking,
Yep.
furry or a child or a,
Yeah.
you know, there's
Yeah.
you can grow up to be a glory hole, little guy or little girl, you know."
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
really bad.
oh, it's really bad. So it's pretty much a good way to sum it up. Here, I'll stop the share. That's all we need of that. Like, okay. So yeah, the this pretty much overall they they're trying to make all of us infants so they can be the dominatrix over us,
Yeah,
right?
and they want us complicit, so they're giving us their mind, and they want us to be like them, so they keep offering different ways to entice you to also be like they are, which is pedophiles, which is egocentric, narcissistic, um, control freaks in their reptilian brain. That's what they're wanting everyone in society to be. And like what Mark Passio taught about, like, they want to be able to do what they want without consequence. So there is no objective right and wrong or morality. It's, if we are pedophiles, then like we should change the external world so that there's no kickback to us being who we are. And part of them doing that is get all of us involved in it. And that's why they're just making a buffet of a million different ways that you can be like them.
Abracadabra, right? They're saying their reality into existence. Oh, it's a pedophile world now. It's okay. Remember when love wins and they friggin' put, like, I mean, you're in Canada, I guess it doesn't
Oh,
matter to you,
Sean,
but
did I send you those pictures of the welfare daycare by my house? It's literally has a chain link. I'm gonna send you the pictures. It has a chain link fence with gravel for the kids to play on. Like, it's like the total social housing like daycare where it's like free, right? Like, but you're like, well, would I really? It's like dropping your kid off at the dog pound. Like, that's what it looks like. And then they had this artist come in and paint a giant rainbow donut that says "Love is all you need" on the outside
oh
of
my
your free daycare,
God.
in a rainbow donut. And I'm
Wow.
like, it's
So an
so
asshole,
blatant.
basically. It's an asshole.
A
Like,
rainbow gay
but a donut
rainbow
is the whole, like,
donut. Yes. And it's on the
oh man.
daycare and it says all you need is love. I'm like, this is what I have to walk past.
Oh.
And I'm like, how can nobody else see this?
And you know about the
I'll send you some more
rainbow
pictures.
programming and stuff, like, like,
Oh yeah,
I
there's
mean,
another mural right by my place. It has a person spinning a child. There's butterflies flying out of them, and then there's the shadows of old dudes watching.
Ah!
And this is on the side of a daycare.
Oh my
And
God.
then there's another one just a wall over. It's a little baby crawling in a diaper with also a butterfly, and it says coming soon.
Oh,
Like
probably.
double meaning.
Yeah, right.
And this
That's
is
like
people just
that's
don't
like
see it.
Planet, like Comet Pizza. It's like come, and it's like got a splatter of white. Like Comet with a splatter of goo. Like what? you know. Oh God. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the baby clothes are really bad too, right? Like, um,
Yeah.
'cause, yeah, they're gonna say it's love. You know what I mean? It's not.
That's the thing,
It's
yeah,
hate.
like that, like love can have any age is the new shit. Like they're
Yeah.
yeah. And next it'll be animals, and then the furries will be like, oh, we like to fuck as animals, and I'm an animal, and let's fuck animals, and then and
Yeah.
then it'll be
Yeah, yeah, that's what
cannibalism.
they're doing.
Right, right. So yeah, we'll talk about the animals and the cannibalism in another show, I guess. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you needed to talk about that you
Um,
want to?
no, I just really wanted to say something about that Lady Gaga video because that just really disturbed me. Like, even just watching it again, I got really upset because it's like, where is people's line? Like, what could be worse than that? Like, that was a little girl wearing a latex red bra, like with spikes, and it's like, how bad does it need to be where people say enough. And that's why I see those dudes at the little girl pageants, like just literally watching their daughters go out on the stage and you know what I mean? And it's like I see that video coming out and it's basically mocking because of the stuff that has been exposed about the pedophile rings and the Satanists. And like most people have at least a base level knowledge that this is an issue right now. Like even people that aren't researching, they realize there's something up with the pedophiles trying to take over. And so for somebody like Lady Gaga to come out and just blatantly in your face, like put that video out, and for people to still like go see her concert or let their kids go see their concert, like it's just you already are under mind control if you can watch that video and not get triggered. There's you're literally already spiritually dead if you can watch that video and that's okay with you. So I'm just thank you for having me on to just say something about that because it's been really pissing me off that video. Like so thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And it's a pleasure to have you. And my listeners love to hear your voice. And so you always have very interesting things to say. And today has been very interesting. So thank you for that. And is there anything that you are working on, or we can find you with Cat Waters on her show, and we can also find you with Africa Rising. Like you've been doing some shows. Is there any
Yeah, I'm
way
on
that we
quite a
can
few
find?
shows. If you just Google Jaymee Jay, sometimes if you put SRA after, it'll show up more shows. But yeah, I'm on a lot of shows. I've actually been doing a ton of podcasts lately. So
Good.
if people want to look up my other shows, I was kind of bringing some attention to the BDSM stuff in general. It's just all connected. So yeah, if people want to hear more of what I have to say, they can just Google Jaymee Jay and
That's good.
see what it for
That's
now.
great. But you'll find some other stuff on Wake the Dead. There's other Jamie J's there too. So click around and thank you again, Jamie, for joining us. And thank you, listeners, for joining us again. We will see you next time on Wake the Dead.